I love analog synthesis, as I expect many of us do. There is something magical about it, and a joy to experience it as much as to hear it. To get hands-on with physical controls and create something new and intriguing every time. Once you have that sound though, it stops there. That's it, that's the sound. But what if you could combine every one of these sounds like you had multiple synths and add every layer to the next layer? Combine them however you choose, shape them however you want, and recall them whenever you need. That is what Amalgam Analogue is, and that is what Amalgam Analogue does. And best of all, it's completely free to every Kontakt user. Hey, my name is Steve and welcome back to Command Shift New. I've developed a passion for synthesis and sampling over the years, and there's a place that wonderfully brings these two things together called Pianobook. If you haven't heard of Pianobook before, do yourself a favor and check out the link that I'll leave below. It's a collection of over 1,000 custom sample libraries made from very unique sounds. It's a community of samplers and composers, and they share these sounds for free for anyone to use. And this month, I've had the wonderful joy of being its Samplist of the Month. This was fantastic to see when I opened up Pianobook recently, so it's really cool and exciting for me. And I thought a wonderful way of thanking the community at Pianobook for this is to release a new sample library. And with Maker Music Day right around the corner, I thought it would be a great opportunity to share my latest project, Amalgam Analogue, my latest free sample library for Kontakt. So what is Amalgam? Let's see what it does. So Amalgam is basically a collection of 12 unique custom-made patches that I've created on my Arturo Polybrute, and I've put them together so that you can blend them together, you can control them together, and you can process them with effects together to create something new and wonderful, a completely unique sound. You do need to be running Kontakt 6.7 or higher, the full version, in order to run this library. But if you do have that, then when you open up the folder, you'll see 35 unique preset patches for you to load up. Going through Kontakt's file browser here, you can see there are 4 different bass patches, 4 different leads, 4 different plucks, 4 different pads, 6 different split key ones, and there is a preset for every individual layer by itself. That's all combined with one massive one that has all the layers stacked together. On the UI, you can see that all 4 layers have been broken out into 3 layers under each of the categories that they belong. So you've got an A, B, and C under each of the basses, leads, plucks, and pads. So you can blend these in as you like, and then use the A, B, or C buttons to mute those layers if you don't want them. The effects section is sort of a new thing that I've developed in order to try and make it a lot more performance-led. Each of these effects can be selected from this drop-down list, and when you select on an effect, you can turn it on or off, and when it's on, you have the ability to control the X and Y pad. You'll see the values and what's happening down here every time you control it, and you can apply more or less, as well as more or less right to left. All of these are automatable as well, so whatever you do when you're recording will be saved to automation, and you can adjust it later with automation as well. Down the bottom you will find a classic ADSR control, of course, and also a master compression in order to make sure that when you're combining and layering up all these different layers, they aren't going to go too crazy. The other thing I've already briefly mentioned is this display window down here. Every time you turn on or off or control a particular volume or knob that you can see on the UI, it's going to display a message of what that knob is actually doing. You're also going to find some pretty cool performance features as well. Down here you've got a voices and groups section, and you have a split mode, a mono mode, and a lush mode. The split mode is really cool. It's going to basically break up the keyboard at middle C and give you a layer for the left hand and a layer for the right hand. So you could turn it on and you could choose maybe the pluck layer B at the bottom and the lead layer A at the top. And then when you play something down the bottom, verse at the top, gives you a different way of interacting with the layers and making it a more useful performance control as well. You also have a mono mode, and when I turn this one on, you'll notice that the split will turn off. That's because only one of these can be on at a time. But basically the mono version takes whatever you've blended together and makes it monophonic. This emulates sort of what a monophonic synthesizer would do, and instead of overlapping notes where the release tail will be played on every single note like a traditional sampled instrument, this time instead it will cut the note dry and move straight to the next note, even if you still have that other note held down. The other cool sneaky thing worth mentioning now is that there is a vibrato control on the wheel. So if you turn the mod wheel up on your keyboard controller, you'll be able to get a little bit of a vibrato-y sound. And lastly is the lush control. This basically adds a little bit more stereo width to the already stereo sounds, but they're really great for like pad sounds or kind of washing type sounds, or if you want to make that lead really spacious. All of this combines into a pretty awesome collection of sounds, and it's a very flexible tool for you. Amalgam is the start of a new concept of instruments for me, I think. And who knows, it might be a series of instruments. It's one part love letter to synthesis and my love of synthesis, and one part an attempt to enhance the process of analog synthesis. I love these sounds, and I definitely wanted to share them with you, but I wanted to share them in a way that wasn't just the same as the instrument that I created them on. I didn't want to just give you the sounds, but I wanted to be able to create something new from them, to shape them and create sounds that wouldn't have even been possible on the synth originally. Honestly, analog synthesis was the first port of call for me because it's a wonderful sound, and I always loved it throughout the rock history, its cinematic history. It's just a fantastic form of synthesis that creates wonderful, rich, lush, detailed sounds. So creating this library is a bit of a labor of love in a way. It was really awesome to be able to share it with you now, and to be able to share it to the Pianobook community that's given me so much. But this is just step one in the Amalgam series, I think. I think you can expect to see more libraries under this name, so stay tuned, why not subscribe, and also follow me on Pianobook if you aren't already. So I hope you enjoy Amalgam Analogue, and if you do, why not leave a review for it on Pianobook. If you want to create your own sample instrument, then you definitely can, and you can use my Kontakt free tutorial series in order to do that. It goes right from the beginning of sampling something through to scripting your first interface, and why not consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss a beat while you're at it. Otherwise, happy writing and happy creating with Amalgam Analogue, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.